For your next project, you're going to try to make a mentor finder homepage. So this is what the homepage is going to look like. It's going to have a navigation going across the top here. It's going to have a little section here. This is going to be a little tricky for you to do to format, but hopefully you can figure that one out. There's going to be a background image and 3 sections across the bottom, each with their own buttons. So we're not going to go over the answers in this one in a video, but we will provide the answers to the actual code on our website. So check that out if you get frustrated or if you get stuck. But again, we're not going to provide an actual video for this one. So hopefully you should be able to figure this out on your own and get the answers if you get stuck. So the next thing I want to talk about is mobile first design and dynamic formatting. So what we've done previously is we did a little bit more of flexible web design. So basically, as the web page got bigger or smaller, the size of the boxes would change. So this is helpful for web browsers, so that whatever we're seeing, fits the browser size that the user is actually using. But it's not always ideal for a mobile user. So for a mobile user, what we do is basically a combination of media queries and flexible boxes. And this is called responsive design. And what we're going to do is once this total screen size is below a certain pixel count, we'll then say, hey, this is no longer a laptop or an iPad. This is a mobile device, or this is an iPad, or this is a web page being viewed on a laptop. So this will allow us to actually change the complete look and feel of the content, not just change the size of the boxes. So this is basically going down a concept of mobile first design. And what this basically means is that instead of historically we would build websites for a laptop and design them for a laptop, now, since so many people are using their phones to access web pages, we're actually going to design it first for the phone, and then second design it for the laptop. This just forces you to design pages that are friendly for mobile and gets you kind of out of the habit of designing pages for a website that's accessed via a laptop. Especially when you're writing code on a laptop. So your natural instinct is to develop it for a laptop first. So a mobile first design really forces you to build first for mobile and then for a laptop. So the key here for designing for mobile web pages is the media query. So this media screen is the key line of code that you put into CSS. And this says that when the minimum width of your browser is 480 pixels, set the background to red. So what you're going to do is you're going to write a whole bunch of CSS code, design it for mobile layout, and then you're going to put in something like this. And this is going to say for all the CSS code below this line, we're going to have a different type of formatting. We're going to have a formatting for laptop. The other thing to do is add in this HTML code to make sure that this media query actually works. Some other common media query breakpoints, i.e. the number of pixels that are typically found for a mobile device or an iPad or a laptop are typically these 4 different breakpoints. So less than 480 pixels is typically an iPhone or a small phone. 768 or 992 are about where an iPad or a really large phone might be, and 1200 pixels or greater is typically a full web page on a laptop. So instead of building 2 different websites, one for mobile and one for desktop, this allows you to build one website and just have it dynamically change the formatting based off of how the user is using it and the size of the screen that they're using it on. And then we've touched upon this a couple of times throughout the various projects, but what we're going to also use a lot of is the M format, or M for pixel size, or size of the font. So instead of just saying the font size is 16 pixels, we're going to say the font size is 2M. and 2M refers to the size of the font of the parent element. So the default is 16 pixels. So 1M is also equal to 16 pixels in that case. 2M would be twice that, so it'd be 32 pixels. So this is really helpful when we're designing dynamic pages that have different looks and feels depending on the size of the screen being used. Another useful one is this overflow hidden. This can basically hide content that overflows from a specific page. Finally, we're not going to go into this into any detail in this lesson or in this course, but there's a lot of different open source web frameworks out there, such as Bootstrap or Webflow, that allow you to design websites with HTML and CSS in a structured format. So these are helpful things to learn on your own, but we're not going to go over it in this course. And finally, the next project for this course is a mobile-first web page design. So this is a page that dynamically changes depending on whether or not you're viewing it on a desktop or a mobile phone. So I'll just quickly show you what that looks like. So basically, if it's on a desktop and it has a large number of pixels, it's going to have these different nav bars on the top. It's going to have different sections that are going to span across the web page. But as you can see here, when it's a smaller screen size or presumably on mobile format, the nav bar is going to switch into a drop-down menu, and these sections are going to go down the page instead of across the page. So again, on a web page for desktop, it's going to be, the sections are going to be across, and then on a mobile, it's going to be below. And the other thing we're doing just to indicate that there's been a change here, so we're going to make the box color, the border of the box, red font. So try this one on your own. We're not going to go over the video on this one either, but we will post the course code for this project in case you do get stuck. But best of luck. This is the end of lesson 3. So hopefully you've been coding along with us and been learning by doing, and we'll see you on the next lesson.